Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rosano. This is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're just calling this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Saturday. Yes, I recorded yesterday. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes. Some days I record on my computer. When I record on my computer, it's never a problem with me hitting a button. But for some reason, when I record with my condenser mic for my iPhone, I can be sitting there and I can be talking, and a lot of times I don't look down, and because once you get into it's hard to keep looking down at the phone when you start getting into the flow of these podcasts. You know what I mean? You want to just start talking, and you want to start just going. And so yesterday I was doing one, and I was just talking, and I didn't realize that I hit the button like 10 minutes before I was actually. It was like more like 15 minutes till I was finished. But we are back today. We're doing an episode, and today we're going to talk about something important. Today is Saturday. At the time of this record right now, it's 12:27 p.m. Saturday afternoon here in the great city of Atlanta, state of Georgia. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about coaching. I want to talk to you about strategy, and I want to talk to you about pivoting. It's not going to be very long, but I just want to, because last week I love watching the soccer, or the football, as you would like to call it, in the foreign seas. And last week I watched I had two teams that I enjoy: Atlanta United and Manchester United. And last week I watched Manchester United, and it got bad quick. It was 4-0 halftime. The game ended up to be 5-0. They lost to Liverpool. It was embarrassing. And then I never realized that they had a hashtag Ole out. The manager's name is Ole. I can't pronounce his whole name, but it was a bad loss, and it was very bad. And they're playing again today. They're playing Tottenham Hotspur. So they're playing Tottenham. We'll see how it goes. Tottenham is they're good. Can they beat him? Will they beat him? Will he change anything? Will the players change anything? And that's the thing. When you get beat 5-0 to soccer, come on, that's embarrassing. And at some point, you have to change your ways. Manchester United, for some reason, ever since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, they keep hanging on to this thought, to this notion about them being. Now they are a top club. They are a top team, a top franchise. Manchester United is known around the world. It's like, if you don't know anything about baseball in the United States, you know one team, the New York Yankees. If you don't know anything about American football, you know one team, the Dallas Cowboys. If you go to the Serie in Italy, the Italian league, Juventus, or whatever, however you say it. I know that club. Real Madrid. So Manchester United is on that level. But ever since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, they have not been at that level. And at some point, you have to say, okay, we are not that team anymore. We need to break ourselves down. We need to figure out what we're doing wrong. And for the manager today, he had a week. You got to adjust. You got to adapt. You got to figure it out. Because sometimes things are not working, and you just have to tell yourself, what can I do to make them better? It's an everyday thing. The more you. This is why I like people. People, when Tim Ferriss wrote his book, 4 Hour Work Week, people thought this guy was talking about just working 4 hours. No, this guy was basically. The book is about automation. The book is about doing what you're great at, and then handing other things off to other people for automation, which is, great. But so there's room to improve on a daily basis. So you have to figure out, what are you doing right? What you are doing wrong? How can you adapt? And I'll give you another example. Manchester United, big example. They got to get it together. You got to adapt. You got to adjust. You got to see what the other Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, all these teams have won since Manchester United. all these teams are great every year. Manchester United, they're okay. You know, sometimes they come in the top 4, sometimes they come in the top 8. But you know, they've been through, you know, Louis van Gaal. They've been through, you know, Moyer. They've been through, what's the one? Jose Mourinho. They've been through him. They just been through manager, sack. You know, it's at some point you can't just be, you know, these managers are like top managers. You know what I mean? Mourinho, he won at Chelsea. He won, you know, other places across the world, you know, so it's not like these guys don't know how to coach, you know. So at some point, the management of the Manchester United to go, okay, what are we doing wrong, you know? And it's the same as the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are a top-notch franchise. Have been. They're worth $1 billion, don't get me wrong, and all that stuff. But they haven't won in 25 years. And at some point, you have to say, what are we doing wrong? You know, at some point you have to get it together. And this year, they seem like they have it together. They adjusted, got a new coach, let the coach pick out the players. They got a different defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator used to be the coach of the Falcons. He has turned his trajectory around. He has improved on his coaching ability, his defensive coaching. And so for you and your business, doesn't matter what you're doing. If you do a podcast, you do a YouTube channel, you create content, and you feel like, man, my content's not getting out there to a lot of people, adjust, adapt, figure out what people want to hear, you know, and you can still sprinkle in what you want to talk about. You can still, listen, always sprinkle in what your message, you know, but there's certain subjects that people like to hear, certain things people want to know, and it's just a fact. And so it's like being a sports show host in America. You're not going to talk about soccer for 3 hours if you want people to get ratings. Sorry, it's just the facts. I love soccer. Don't get me wrong, and I could talk to people about it for a long time. But none of my friends, none of my family members like watch soccer like that. So I'm talking to myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a fact. I'll talk to my daughter about it, but it's just a fact. In America, people want to talk about American football, and that's drive the rating bus. You can throw in some soccer, you can throw in some basketball too. You can throw in some baseball if you like baseball, but it's not going to get as much listenership. So you have to sprinkle it in. And so there's something you want to talk about. Yeah, sprinkle it in. But if you're doing a YouTube channel about relationships, people want to hear about divorce. People want to hear about, you know, things like that. People don't want to hear about happy relationships all day long. People like negativity, unfortunately. And so, like, let's say you're in that space and you keep talking about positivity. It's like, all right, you're not getting the views that you want. You might have to go and talk about a divorce or something like that every now and then, okay? Sort of like the Jerry Springer thing. Jerry Springer, if you don't know Jerry Springer, he's a talk show host. He used to do a show. He used to be the white guy version of Oprah. He had a very nice show, very lovely, but very pleasant. But the ratings weren't there. They were talking about canceling Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer, he changed. He did a whole 180, okay? No, he did 1,080. He switched formats. He went to the raunchiest, trashiest TV, and he shot out to #1. You know, I don't know if you want to go that far, but adjust, adapt. You have to have the ability to change. You have to have the ability to figure out what's going on, what you can do, and take it from there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I got to go see, and we're going to adapt, and we're going to change, and we're going to be Tottenham today. Let's hope so. All right? But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We will be back Monday with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless you. And as always, everybody, peace.